Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is your girl Tlago, and welcome to the channel Tlago's World. And today I'm having pajama talks, and as far as you can see, I got my wines over here, some red Shiraz. Shiraz, whatever you want to call it. I just like the way it tastes and I know the name, so that's all that matters. So today's topic is about singlism. And guess who is a single lady? Yeah, it's me. I've been single for like most of my life. And I have had boyfriends here and there. However, I am one of those people, I can literally sit here and stand. I have never had like a long ass term relationship. My relationships don't get past like the honeymoon phase and so on. But I'm going to talk about singlism. So singlism, according to the Huff Post from the blog, The True Meaning of Singlism, I will link I will link below the blog which I'm talking about, so you guys can check it out and read it. It's about singlism. So singlism is basically stereotyping, stigmatizing, and discrimination against people who are single. So basically, it's kind of like saying, single people are like gross or like have some kind of disease. It's okay. I mean, whatever. I did divide this video into some segments, so if you're interested, if you don't want to listen to everything, you can just skip off to what is most interesting to you or what you feel like you can mostly relate to. So single shaming or singlism can come in many ways, but the most classic one I've came across is like people trying to prove that relationships or marriages are way better than being single, and in reality that's not how life kind of is. And also just I get single shamed by not only the opposite gender of men, but women have single shamed me too. A couple of friends have, and it does, as much as people, we are told to ignore what people say. Yes, you can ignore what people say, but in reality you are human. It's kind of like when somebody keeps, like kind of like I don't know, like, let's just say somebody like, I forgot what this is, but in my language it's called hohwata. I don't know what's it called in English, but like mutua hwata, right? The first time like our hwata does this, maybe you'll ignore them if you don't want to entertain them, but if they keep doing this, your shoulder's gonna start hurting and you're gonna be like, okay, what the hell? And basically it's the same thing on how I feel. It's kind of like people are doing this to my shoulder and I'm just like, okay, would you guys like cut it out? That's just how I feel about singlism. So basically it's basically some people will try to prove to me how being in a relationship is way better than being single, and in reality it's not always like that. And the reason I'm going to say it's not always like that, because I'm going to explain this video as much as in depth as I can so that people can understand why singlism is wrong, and also that people can understand that relationships aren't that. The whole point of this video is not to basically demean relationships and say being single is the way, being single is whatever. I truly feel like relationships are a beautiful thing. Being married is a wonderful thing when you're with the right person, and a person that actually, like, whatever you're looking for is what they're looking for, and you guys have reached this place of compromisation. And that's where I think it's like, beautiful, or like, oh, like it works, Romantic love is beautiful. And also society, for many years, we've been kind of like looked to envy towards romantic love. Family love, friendship love, especially friendship love. It's kind of like put in the back burner. Like, that's not important. Where's your life partner? Like, who cares about your best friend? We want to see your life partner. Who cares about your mother who loves you every single year, took care of you for her whole life? Let's talk about your partner who you're going to be with until you die, or whatever. People are more worried about romantic love, and also in movies. Like, for example, I'm tired of Netflix recommending me romantic movies, honestly. But it is what it is. Like, even like society, just how we see it, the amount of movies out there about romance, the happiness, and also just how genuinely love makes us feel. Because I might not have been in a long-term relationship, but I do have a feel. Unfortunately, I'm one of those people that suffered from unrequited love, but I know what love feels like, and when you feel it for a person, whether it's romantic or friendship or family, but when I say it's romantic, I do know that love can kind of make you do some crazy things, because it kind of made me do some crazy things. It can make you jealous. It brings all this new person out of you, and that's just, but like, you know, it's not always, I want to shift, hooray, it's not always like the greatest sometimes, because there is such thing out there as toxic relationships. And you know, I really feel like when people single shame people and force them to get into relationships and whatever, they need to understand it's not that easy to just meet someone that's going to treat you the way you want to be treated, or that's going to treat you right and whatever. And I'm going to start with the first segment of this video, and it is going to be dating sucks. Dating sucks. It's not, I'm not even here. I'm gonna have to put my wine down for this. Dating sucks. It sucks, in my opinion. And it's not something that sucks just in where I live. It's all over the world. I see so many videos out there of YouTubers complaining about men and the stuff that they've been through, him cheating, finding out that he's married, or her, or I don't know. Dating is just a hot mess. It's just a hot mess, and it's not easy to navigate and find the love of your life in this dating span. It's not easy. Dating is so not easy that imagine there are so many dating coaches out there. You name them, you know, even the ones that are considered glorious, even the ones that are considered toxic, I don't know, whatever they called. But there are so many dating coaches out there, you know, that are like experts in this love field, that are famous all over the internet and giving out all this advice. And yet still, people, I still personally myself, I've listened to these people. I know friends of mine that are single that also listen to these people and listen to their advice to the core, and they're still, I repeat today, they are still single. And I don't think they're the only ones going through this. Dating, like, it's not, and that's why I hate it when people come and shame us and attack us for like, why are you alone? And it's like, you think I can just walk outside and the love of my life will be like, gosh girl, why didn't you come outside? Like, it's not that simple. You think I get on an app, put great ass pictures of myself, write a great bio, and the love of my life is like, this is the woman. It's not that easy. It's not that easy. It's tough out there, guys. There's a lot of fish in the sea, but the fish ain't edible at all. The classic shaming that I've gone through is, now I'm going to put on like the top ones that I've been through that are common or whatever. One is, where's your boyfriend? You need a man to pay for your rent. If you don't do something now, you're gonna be 30 and alone. Oh, so you're one of those like independent woman type of nonsense that wants to buy a house and think that a man is gonna marry you once you have your own house. You think men wanna do that? Yeah, another one that I also come across which irritates me is, but like, girl, don't you wanna like have sex? And it's like, you guys really think we have to be in relationships to have sex? Okay, fine. Another one is, you need a man. When will you get married? AKA unyalani. And when will you have a boyfriend? AKA ujolani. And basically those are like some of the things that I've experienced. So I got a couple of comebacks to some of the stuff that people have said to me or whatever, and I know that making a video about it might seem a little bit immature, but I'm not talking about these people, like talking about I'm not mentioning names here, and if these people watch it, whatever. So the first one I just want to address is the classic one: you're not getting intimacy, you're not having sex. That one kind of like gets to me. That one irritates me because people are acting like singleness equates to like not having sex at all, going through a drought, the Sahara Desert, all that other nonsense they say. And here's the thing I don't understand about it, because in the day and age of dating apps, and I've heard of this one, but I've never tried it out, okay? I've never I'm not lying when I say this. Apparently, there are even hookup apps now. I don't know what they're called. I heard they are hookup apps now. But in a time where there are dating apps and people do go on dating apps and are looking for hookups and are actually blunt about it in their profiles, in a time where there are hookup apps, where people are genuinely making profiles looking for other people who want to link up and hook up, and also in a day and age where casual sex is kind of like normalized now, it's no longer seen as like, girl, get into a relationship with him. It's kind of like, oh, you're getting some, oh, must be nice. And live your best life, honey. In a time like this, why do people still have the stereotype that people who are not in relationships are not getting it, are not getting some action? Like, maybe, okay, they're not making fine, but like, why is there a stereotype like that? And here's also another question to that, is that there are people in relationships, I know several. I know several. Don't even know one. I'm saying several that I know of that are in committed relationships. Some of them have been with these people for like years. I know someone that's been with someone for 10 years and they went 2 years without even doing it. That person, well, it was 8 years they were together, and in 2 years they got into a distant situation. But still, like 2 years, like, and I'm single, like, I don't know. And then the other one, and then I know others, whereas they live with their people, but they're not even doing it, even though they're there every day. And also, boredom is a thing. But I'm just saying that I don't understand, why is it that we are always the ones that are looked on like, oh my goodness, you're not getting anything at all. Like, how childish can you people honestly be? Like, is this how bad you want us to feel bad about being single? You think that? And also another thing I just want to say, people really have the mind. I don't understand why people think, in my experience, okay, getting laid, getting sex, not so difficult. Not so difficult. Partnering up and getting somebody committed, yeah, that one's difficult. But getting somebody who's just gonna sleep with me, or somebody I'm gonna have for a couple of months, who's just gonna rock up and just do the deed, that's not something I've ever struggled with to get. So I don't understand when people say, oh yeah, and you're missing out, and like, you know, getting some, and it's like, what? And even if I don't even understand, what if I don't even want to get some? Because there are moments where one does want to be celibate. And I've been through those phases in my life where I just want to be celibate. I don't want anybody's germs and sweat on top of mine. So I'm just like, please, no, get away from me, boy. Like, I don't understand why. I mean, what if I choose that I don't want to do it at all and I don't have a problem with it? Me, I don't. Why do you have to convince me I have a problem with it when I feel like I don't have a problem with it? That's the thing, you know. And then another thing I'd like to address is the ones where people say things like, when will you get a boyfriend? When will you meet? When are you gonna like have a proper committed relationship? Now that one irritates me for several reasons. And I'm coming back to my first point. Dating sucks. You think it's easy? You think it's easy? No, guys. Maybe for you it was easy. Maybe because I know people who met the people they're with on Tinder, on these dating apps, Badoo, Hinge, you name it. I know a lot of people that tell me that's where I got him, you know. But I've tried these things, did not work out for me. And just because it didn't work out for me doesn't mean that the apps are terrible. I actually like the whole concept of dating apps because, first of all, they kind of like open up your options, but the problem is, you know, the problem with dating apps, I'd say, you know what, this is a topic for another day, actually. I'm going to talk about dating apps on another day. But yeah, but basically, I hate the fact that people make it sound easy to find someone. It's not easy. And also, like, so, you know, sometimes you meet people when you least expect it. So it's also a thing of like, what if I'm going to meet the love of my life when I least expect it? What if I'm going to meet them when I'm not trying anything at all? And I don't understand why people have to like pressure me to go out there and look for the person. And now I'm going to get to another point, which is the things that discourage me to even date in any ways. Baby, daddy, blesse culture, you know, blesse culture, and so on. I'm just going to touch on that one, okay? Because that one it does make me, it really does discourage me to date. And it makes me also question when people say, oh, you're alone, and it's like, have you guys seen what's happening in these streets? One thing, and the reason I'm going to talk about the Blesse and Blesse culture is because of the comeback that I just want to get to on you need a man to pay your rent. There was a guy once who was attacking me and said that the whole thing of me paying my rent is dumb and I should get a man to pay the rent and so on. And I was like, okay, but that's not, a lot of men are broken nowadays and don't have jobs. Well, in South Africa, that is. I mean, like, we're sitting on an unemployment rate of what? And like, how am I expecting like a guy on the street, you know, just some random guy on the street that I just meet up with, and I'm just like, yeah, Puti, so you think I'm hot? How about my rent? And here's where I have a problem with this thing, because this thing low-key kind of promotes this blesse sugar daddy culture. And the reason why I say it promotes it is because there was a guy I was seeing last year. I don't usually date guys who are significantly older than me, but he was significantly older than me. And in the beginning, I was kind of like, dude, but you old, man. Like, you old. And, you know, I know it's discriminative, but it was like, it was just, I just usually prefer people around my age range. Not exactly the same age as me, but age range. You know what I'm saying? Like median or mean. Maths. But I prefer that. And he's like kind of the outlier, you know. He even had a dad bod. I don't like dad bods. Yes, now I'm not just being ageism. I'm also body shaming right now, which is terrible. But yes, I'm not a fan of dad bods. And he had a dad bod. And he said to me, when I told him that I usually don't date people who are, you know, older than me, especially around his age range, this is literally what he said to me. He was like, you needed to date older men because younger men are broke. You know, they won't be able to finance you. And this guy was saying this as if he could afford to buy me an American Swiss jewelry, and he did not even buy me anything that I can be like, oh my gosh, wow, you got money. No, he couldn't. He just couldn't. He didn't even pay my rent. So, and why I say this encourages this stuff is because now I should just date older men because older men have money. Like, that is the motivation behind being with someone older. What? Is that the only motivation there is? Is there anything else? Because like being with someone who has a dad bod for no reason, like, come on guys, there gotta be more reasons. But I don't know if Blesse cultures, wherever you're from, is like a big thing, but here it kind of is. Especially when I got to this side of the city, it's quite severe. I remember there was a guy I was seeing, and he thought that I was seeing multiples of men, and basically he said to me that, oh, so you've got a minister of finance, you've got the minister of transport, and the minister of food and whatever. And in my brain, in my messed up brain, I thought he meant that I was busy smashing actual ministers, because in reality, I know this is crazy, but I've met people who have access to such. So I thought, this is what I'm thinking. I was like, no, I've never really dated a minister. Most ministers are old and whatever. And I'm like, and he's like, no, not literally. Like, and now I realized that he was talking about that, you know, girls will date different men to get different, like, one will bring food, minister of food. One will be for your Ubers and your rides and whatever, that's minister of transport, and minister of whatever, housing. Wow, guys. Yo, I didn't know that I just didn't think that this was a thing, because I don't do that. And he thought I did that. And it's kind of weird that now it's like men, especially older men, they now have this stereotype that girls, especially around my age range, who are in their early 20s, are all doing this. You know, we're all doing this. We're not paying our rent. Somebody's paying our rent for us. We're not, you know, trying to strive for our life. You know, somebody bought this wine for me, and I actually bought this wine for myself. But you know, men will assume that somebody bought this for me. But okay, it is what it is, and it's pretty disgusting because It's like when I go out in public, like usually when I go buy, just for example, when I ran out of, when you ran out of something like in the house, like maybe you ran out of oil or you just ran out of salt and you just go to the store quickly to buy salt or sugar. I come across men that are like really disgusting. Sorry, this is disgusting, guys. Like, it's really disgusting. I was in Pick and Pay, and this man was a security guard, quite older, and he so what was happening is that I couldn't find the aisle that had sugar. I had been roaming around the entire Pick and Pay for freaking sugar, and you know what, I just got irritated and I just went to the security guard and I just asked him, where is the sugar aisle? And he's like, oh no, the sugar aisle's over there. So on my way, while I'm walking to the sugar aisle, he's like, hey hun, wait. I'm gonna say this in my language first, because he did say it in my language, then I'll translate after, or maybe I'll put it in as a subtitle, I don't know. And he's like, oh, nah, ha mama a shota ka tjhelete ya di school fees kapa di tjhelete fela nje, o tle ho nna ke tlo o tle ho nna o. And he says it with like this perverted smile, and I'm like, and I look at him like, sir, sir, I'm already done with school. And he's like, what? He's like, yeah, as a matter of fact, ha mama a shota nna ke mo tlatsa ha o tsebe taba eo. Literally, I said that to him because I was like, this is disgusting. And here's the thing, he's saying this because he knows that most people, okay, the area in which I live in, there's a lot of students, right? And some of the students are around my age, no lie. But it's just disturbing that like this is like a thing. Like, what? Like a man can just come and say that so casually, so like, guys, no, I don't know, or maybe it's just me, and I found this very predatory and weird. And not only him, but even sometimes when I be out at like like I'll be at like buying something at like McDonald's or Chicken Licken, and like some older man will just rock on by and he'll think like, and he'll try to talk to me and think I'll be impressed by his money or something, which is just wrong. And I remember last year when I was still in the dating rhythm, there was a guy I met and he was pretty cool, and so he invited me over to his apartment because he wanted me to cook a nice African meal for me. And basically he says, while I'm there, I was in his apartment. I wasn't impressed by his apartment, sorry. It's not like, I felt like his life was just, I don't know. Okay, but let me just give a picture of what was going on. He says to me that I should quit my job, and I should quit my job, drop everything, and he will pay for my university fees to do my post-grad. And then yeah, he says that, and he says he'll pay for everything. He'll even pay my rent. He'll even pay for my electricity bill. And the thing is, when I was at his apartment, guys, this guy, his geyser was broken, and he said it had been broken for months, and it was winter at the time when I met him. It was around June, and that's like cold. Like, June is cold, And he's like, yeah, my geyser is broken. And I'm like, so when do you plan to fix it? And he's like, I'm gonna fix it. And I'm like, and also just like, he didn't have a lot in his apartment. All he had was like a young bed, and he was sharing with someone. He didn't even have like a TV, some sofas. I was sitting on a normal chair. I'm not like degrading people, but I really feel like you can't be, if I come back into my apartment and I have a TV, I have sofa, I have a geyser that's working perfectly, and everything, and then like I come to your place and you don't have a lot going on, you're still kind of like trying to make ends meet, and then I come in and you're willing to give me all this money, but your stuff isn't together. It just, for me, it was just a turn off. And it's especially when he was like to me, quit your job. Like, I was like, And he's not the only guy here I've met that has been like, quit your job. Oh my gosh, guys, these men are so quick to tell you to quit your job. And it's really weird. And the reason why I think it's weird is because where we are economically, I really thought men were going to change. I really thought this mindset of them being the provider and everything was going to, not like it's wrong for them to be a provider. I don't mind a man that wants to be a provider, actually. Anyways, I just thought that this mindset of them always being the breadwinner and everything would slowly die out, and the importance of companionship would kind of be like a thing in today's generation. I thought it would be a thing of you help me, I help you type of thing, not a thing of like I give up everything and then you get everything like type of thing. But it seems like nowadays I'm also seeing a new thing where men are gold diggers, guys. Men are gold diggers now. And the reason why I thought this would be a generation of companionship, with everything being so expensive and everything, I thought we were gonna go and help each other out, you know. I know a couple out there that actually are ideal to me, whereas it was so cute, guys. Like they go 50, like it's not like 50-50, but they help out with things. So for an example, the one partner wanted to buy a car, and the other partner had a car, and they have a child, so it was this whole thing of like they felt like the other partner needed a car as well, so that they can, you know, when they fetch the child, they take it. Then it's not a thing of like we're over reliant on the one that drives or something. And what the other partner did was like the partner was like, I'm going to pay the rent for certain amount, the full rent for a certain amount of time, and then we'll go half on the grosses, and then you will try and save up for your car. And that's exactly what happened. And the other partner could buy their car, and the other partner was doing this. And I just thought I thought like we would live like in a time like that. It's just an example I'm making. I know it doesn't fully always work that way. If that's not your thing, it's fine. But I really thought with how the economy is and how things are so expensive, like just companionship and just working together as a team. When you fall, I help you. When you need this, I do this. Just to reach a level of compromisation. I thought that would be the motive today. But it seems like there's not really much of a motive. It's like people don't, like when men come to me, they're like, quit your job. I'm just like, why? Like life is so expensive. I can't just quit my job. Like, are you crazy? And that's why I look at this thing and I'm just like, what happened? And also the thing of men becoming gold diggers now. I've met guys who will just be like, well, I'm like 2 weeks within talking to them, and they're like, yeah, can I have like money to do whatever? Can I have money to? And it's like, okay, like, and so, and also I've met even guys who are like, well, you're working, you know, I'm not working, but you know, I'll get a job, don't worry, but then you should do everything, like, you know, when we go out on dates, you should pay now, you should do. And I'm like, another thing I hate about singlism is the assumptions people have. You know, people assume that when you are single, that you are automatically looking for someone. It's kind of annoying. It's very annoying because it's also a thing of like, sometimes people are taking a break from dating because they were burnt out from dating, or they just come out of a toxic relationship and they're just not in the mood, or they just focusing on other stuff in their life, and right now a relationship ain't that important. And the assumption that someone is always looking for someone, and it boils down to the thing of like they're lonely and they're desperate. And that's kind of annoying because I faced sexual assault. I think I'm not saying that my sexual assault was because of that, but I feel like one of the factors that came from my sexual assault, for the person to assault me, I think those were one of the reasons. Okay, and the reason why I say this is because I'm single, right? So, and there's no one I'm posting, so clearly there's not really much, right? And basically I told him that I was not interested in him, and he would still be persistent, and he would send me these sexual things to the point that it got to a point whereas he was like, in a physical sense, he wanted to get sexual with me and without my consent. And luckily that day I managed to call someone who was nearby, and they came, and he got scared, and he stopped whatever he was gonna do. It's a very disturbing story. But what I hated is that after that incident had happened, after he did what he did, is that he would not stop sending me these messages like, oh yeah, do you want to like smash, do you want to like you want to be with me? And I told him like, no, I'm not interested, like, no, please. And he was still persistent, to the point that I had to say and lie to him that I have a boyfriend. And when I said I had a boyfriend, that's when he stopped. At some point he continued, but that's a story for another day. But when I had to mention a non-existent boyfriend just so that he would leave me alone, because I think somewhere in his mind it was like, Tlago's lonely, she needs someone, she's just playing hard to get, you know. I think that's what he thought, but that's not how I felt. And I don't like the fact that people have that mindset that like when you're alone you automatically want someone and you're kind of desperate, so the next person that comes in you kind of gotta give them a try and give it a go. I think that kind of like made me feel like, oh, so because I don't have someone, now people are gonna try and, you know, get all freaky with me without my permission. Like, what? Okay, anyways, that's a story. Let me just stop. So, and also the thing with also people thinking that you're desperate is that I've noticed you'll be getting to know someone and they be trying you, you know, like trying you. It's like they're trying you to prove your worth, right? And they will kind of like put you in these tricky situations where they want to see how desperate you are or how much you would actually beg for them. And I've been in situations like that in dating as well, because people have this mindset that I need a man that you need a man, so they think that I'll do anything for a man so that he can commit to me. But no, I will not toxically lose myself or do shit that will make me go bankrupt just to have you. No, I'm not about to do that. And I've seen that people do that when you're single, and I know that has nothing to do with single shaming, but I feel like that is like one of the indirect things of single shaming, because it's in his mind he's saying she needs a man, oh, she so needs a man, so she'll do anything. And it's very insulting. I ghost guys who are like this. I don't even bother to like argue with them, because yeah, your mindset is messed up. Number one I hate, but this is not really people that shame people that are single, is the age thing. Now people might come and say to me that you need to get someone now because you'll be 30 and alone. But I also don't like it when people say when you're young and you're in your 20s, you should like date a lot in your 20s. I really don't. I don't like that. Now I know most people are gonna say, but yeah, you should supposed to do that. But here's the thing. Here's my problem with that statement or that motto or whatever you guys call it. But I've gone through this cycle in dating. Okay, it's when you meet someone, okay, and then like you like them and you go through a couple of dates with them, and then it doesn't work out, or you realize that they're not that into you, and it hurts you, and then you cry, and then it's time to get over them, and you're struggling to get over them, that you feel kind of like this.
I'm not even gonna think about you know who at the you know what doing I don't care.
And then you know, and then and then like you return to your beautiful self, and then the cycle just continues. Like it just continues. And here's the thing, I don't know if I want to spend my youth constantly doing that. I don't know. I feel, in my sense and in my world, I think it's not really worth it. Even if I will date, I will not fully invest myself into finding someone. I will just give people chances and tries, but if it's not worth it, it's just not worth it. And the reason why I say this is because I don't want to, like, why should I spend most of my youthful years crying over guys who are not that into me or don't really care about me that much, and going out on countless dates with people who still don't care about me? Like, no offense. That's why I really have a problem with that saying, like, do it a lot. Like, just do a lot of it. Like, a lot, okay? Like, I have a problem with that. I don't like that statement. How many times must I go through that cycle? And then I have to go through that cycle of like when you're struggling to get over someone type of thing. And also, why do I have to do it all the way into my 20s? And then when I'm in my 30s, it's like, oh guys, whoo, finally done with the cycle. Never mind my period cycle, but this cycle, bad. Anyways, I don't understand why why, like, it's just crazy to me that like, why are we doing that? Why is this even a thing? Or maybe it's because I'm still in my 20s, so maybe I'll understand when I'm in my 30s. I don't know, but yeah. And also, I don't know, guys, how many cycles must I go through of this? Must it be to a point where as I'm standing outside and I'm homeless and I'd be like, I lost my place, I lost everything in my life and my clothes, all in the name to find a partner. And then everyone's just like, okay, sweetie, enough, you can stop now. Really, like, why? Like, I have to get to my worst point. Isn't me feeling like this enough for me to be like, I'm tired? Because this is how I feel about dating. This is literally me in dating. Like, I'm Squidward, like, that's how I feel, because I really feel like dating has really taken a toll on my mental health to some degree. I will be so happy living my best life and everything, and a man will just appear and the cycle and then it's that cycle and so on. And not just in terms of just me meeting people and them just, you know, coming and instructing emotions and so on, but it's also the thing of when people start asking me about relationships, especially when people ask me about what am I doing in my relationships, I tend to get anxious because I don't have a good story to tell. I can't even talk about an ex-boyfriend that I dated for 5 years. I can't brag about that. There's nobody that liked me for that long. Nobody has liked me for 5 years, guys. Nobody. Only my friends have liked me longer than 5 years, and only my family has liked me longer than 5 years. But nobody has liked me longer than 5 years in a romantic sense. Like, when people ask me, so like, do you have a boyfriend? It's also, here's the thing. Sometimes I want to answer to the why I don't have the boyfriend, because I know that most of the time once I say no, it's like, oh my gosh, you're such a nice person. Like, have you planned, when was the last time you met someone? When was the last time you actually did something? Have you ever had a long-term relationship? You know what, as long as like it's not any relationship below the age of 25, all relationships are unimportant, so it's okay, baby, it's okay. You know, it's like people have a lot to say about me being single. I think it's also because I'm genuinely a pretty girl. So being single means that maybe something's wrong with me. I've came across that one as well. It's pretty insulting. That one is very insulting because it doesn't make me question my worth, but it makes me feel like people think I'm a piece of trash. But if I was really trashy, then why do I have friends? Why does my family still love me and enjoy my company? I really feel like romantic relationships do not fully define how much of an enjoyable person you are, in my opinion. Because if you have friendships and then if you have your family rooting for you, I mean, I think you should be a little bit worried if like you got no friends, you got no family, or your family just doesn't want to associate with you, and your friends don't want to talk to, or people that used to be your friends don't want to talk to you, or nobody wants to be a friend, or no one wants to get to know you. I think that's when you should be a little bit worried. But if you're not like winning in the romance game, it's okay. The friendship game, you'll be winning, because that's where actually I'm winning. And in the family game, you'll be winning. And just to celebrate the little love that you have. But however, because I don't want to explain to someone why I'm single and so on, is that I will start lying about these imaginary boyfriends that I have. And basically I will say nonsense like, you know, we met at the gym, it felt like love at first sight, his abs were so perfect, and guess what, I was wearing those tights that make my figure look the best. And the crazy thing is that people actually believe these stories. And these are the things that I answer, because when I hate it when I say I never met someone who treated me like that, or I never felt that love. I've never really met someone, I felt like I want to have kids with this person and I want to marry this person. Usually when I have that mind, it's because I'm infatuated and it's going to happen for a few months, then, or it's going to happen for a few weeks, and then it's gonna fade and be like, ew, I never want to have your kids. And then it's not something, I've never really been with someone for so long that I felt like, wow, I can actually build a life with this person. Never, sorry. sorry if I said I wanted to have kids with you, I was clowning, man. I was clowning. Anyways, but I'm tired of losing, and the reason why it takes a toll into my mental health, I'm tired of losing myself in an investment that kind of like leads nowhere. And I'm not saying that I completely lose myself in dating, but dating does kind of make me lose myself, because after me and a person do not work out, I do have a habit of questioning my worth. But yeah, and then another concept that I just want to touch on is also being a woman and singlism. Now, I know that they were not shaming Tracy Alice Ross. Kevin Hart was not shaming her when he was asking this question. But I am really tired of people asking single women about, you know, what do they want out of a relationship, why are they single, da-da-da-da.
That's what I want. I would love a relationship that makes my life better than it is. I have no interest in just being in a relationship to be in a relationship. I can have a wheel of lovers. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, will you stop going into...
I'll be like, I take what I like and I leave the rest. I say, thank you and goodbye.
Stop going.
I say, thank you, sir.
You're not at the jazz bar.
I'm at the jazz bar.
You're at a jazz bar.
Oh, I just spit. I'm like...
No, that's not. No man is there. Stop. That's why you're not.
That's why. No.
Because you keep going to the jazz bar.
I went to the jazz bar and I went.
Like when Tracy Alice Ross had to answer Kevin Hart and be like, I want a person that's like this, and I want a person. I found it so unnecessary for her to answer that, and the main reason why I found it unnecessary is because Tracy Alice seems happy. She seems happy. I don't know, maybe, maybe she does, I'm pretty sure at some degree, maybe she does feel lonely once in a while. But for me, I don't know, Tracy seems happy, she seems fine, she seems to be flourishing, she takes care of herself. I mean, she smiles, she's beautiful, I love her hair, like she embraces herself. Like I feel like, you know, other than a relationship status, like there's more to Tracy Alice Ross that we can ask about, you know. I want to ask her, like, what would I ask Tracy Alice Ross if I met her? I would ask her about her resilience in her career. I mean, like, and also I know that I would ask her, you know, like having a famous parent, did she feel the pressure that she had to be at the same status level of fame that her mother had, and so on. I feel like there were other things they could have asked her. I know asking about the status of fame to her mother is not such a good question, but I'm just making an example of all the other things they could ask her about, you know, how she grew up and things that she likes to do on a regular day, and her favorite countries that she likes to visit. How much does she really love the beach, or is this just for social media flaunt? But this is my favorite picture of Tracy Alice Ross. I don't know, I just love this picture. But I just find it irritating that they like asking such questions to women, and because this is more, and I know that they ask these questions to men as well, but it's really common among women who are older for them to ask questions like that. And it's irritating. I think one of the reasons why they ask such things is because, you know, at the end of the day, it all comes down to the point that I came across where I say people are always at the assumption of people are always looking for partnership and always looking for a man. And maybe she is looking for someone, but it might not be, you know, like the biggest priority of her life. And I don't understand why do we want to ask her the question and expect her to answer it as if it should be the priority of her life. That's why I was a bit mad, but I like the way she actually handled it and how she answered the question. However, I found it unnecessary for them to actually ask her that. Like, guys, can we please stop asking people why they're not married, why they're single, as if like people can just walk out the door and find the love of their lives and get married. Like I said from the beginning, like dating is easy. Njolo department, guys, it's a fail. Okay, it's not a fail completely, but it's not a 100% win. It's not 100% win in the dating game. It's really not. And when someone is asking like, why haven't you found someone, why aren't you looking, what do you look for, like one of the questions I had recently, it's okay, one of the questions I hate, or another assumption that I forgot to mention, is when people ask me, for an example, I had this one friend, I was out with her for dinner and I was suffering from unrequited love from a certain guy, and basically because I realized that he's not that into me and I had to like move on. And so I was telling my friend about the guy and she was like, oh, don't worry, you know, at your age I thought I'd be married. And here's the thing, I didn't look forward to marrying the guy, to be honest. I didn't look forward to that. I just really liked him and he just didn't like me back, and it did kind of F me up in some way, kind of like F up my feelings in some way. So for her to be like, oh, I thought at your age I'd be married, it's like, that's not what I thought. And also people asking me questions like, would you get married? What do you think of marriage? It's kind of irritating because, guys, when you ask me would I get married, who will I marry? Who will I marry? I can't think of marriage right now because there's no one that has shown me the thing of like, maybe, you know, if I were to get married, like, I would want you to be a little bit like this. Like, there's no one I desire to marry, so why should I think about it? I think I will only think about marriage, my wedding dress, when I've met someone that actually I feel like, okay, I think I can get married to this person. The reason why I don't want to think about marriage first and then you know, look for the person is because my problem is that what if my biggest fear is that I'm settling, or I end up being in a situation whereas like I'm too desperate to get married and then I just go for the next best thing. And another reason why I don't view marriage at the top tier as much is because in our generation I don't see a lot of people, especially people that look like me or are darker than me. Actually, okay, I'm not going to mention it, but if you look like me or you form a part of my ethnicity, you would understand what I'm trying to say. I don't see, you know, them getting married, engagements, and mainly seeing baby showers and pregnancies. But marriage, I'm not seeing that with people that look like me, which is a little bit discouraging, and it makes me feel like, then why fully invest? You know, just why fully invest? Why fully desire? If like, I might just be the next who doesn't. And so, to my conclusion, now we've reached the end of the video, which is just basically where I'm just going to talk about the conclusion. If I had a superpower, the superpower would be, actually we'll start, hold on. The superpower would be, make someone love me back and treat me right for eternity. That is the superpower. If I had that superpower, I wouldn't be single. But guess what? I don't have that superpower. And whatever korobela I could use to get there, I mean, who knows? But I'm just saying, if I had a superpower, it would be like that, and I would be with someone. But I don't have that kind of superpower, and that's why I don't like singlism, because it's like you shame someone for being for not partnering up, as if partnering up is easy. If we lived in the time of if we lived in in the country that we are, where arranged marriages were I know arranged marriages probably still do happen in our country, but they're not as common anymore, I guess. But if we lived in a society where arranged marriage was at the rate of like 95% in the whole country, then like you have every right to shame somebody who's single, because it's like, how the hell are you alone? Because you're supposed to be arranged or paired up with someone. But we don't live in a society where people do that anymore. So I don't understand why we still, kind of making people feel bad for being alone. And also, stop single shaming people. It's not right. And also, it makes you look like a coward, because there's one person that loves single shaming me, and that person is in a relationship. And the reason why it makes you look like a coward is because if you're in a relationship, right, and you're happy with someone, why are you bothered that I'm single? You're not the one that's single. Why are you bothered? I mean, if I say I'm single, I'm alright, why does it bother you that I'm okay with being alone? You're not the one who's alone. You have someone. Why are you bothered about my supposed loneliness? And that's why I don't like single shaming at the end of the day, because it's like, why are you frustrated of my loneliness that you have to find every single little dumbass scenario to shame me for where I am and say stuff like, oh, you're not getting sex, someone's not paying your rent, son, and all these things. But it's like, but you're not the one. You're not in my life. You're not the main character of my life in any ways. So why are you doing this? And that's why I say, for me, single shaming also makes you look like a coward, especially if you're in a relationship. If you're single as well, I don't know, that's a little bit different. And I usually, when single people single shame me, I mean, it's like, it's different. But when it's somebody who's in a relationship, it's pretty much annoying and it's pretty childish, because it's like, but you're happy. Why are you so bothered? And we need to start living in a reality and in an acceptance that not everybody's going to end up partnered up, and that's okay. Some of us are going to end up being partnered up. I don't know, maybe today I might be sitting here and saying, yeah, singleism sucks and people should stop, and then like 2 years from now I'll be with someone and I'll be happy. I don't know, it maybe not. But even if it doesn't happen, so what? Maybe it's just not in my fate. And at the end of the day, I really, for those who don't believe in God, okay, whatever, but for those who do believe in God, any God, you name it, or the universe or the higher being, but I believe in God, whatever higher being you believe in or higher entity, at the end of the day, happiness, when you choose your fate or God chooses your fate, it comes with happiness. Regardless of whether you are alone or you're with someone, it comes with happiness if it's from God. So I'm not going to go out here in the streets and go force something with somebody, because I know that if God doesn't want me to be with that somebody, it means I'm going to force it and I'm not going to be happy with that person. And once I'm not happy, or what if I end up in a relationship with someone and I feel single, or I'm treated like I'm a single person? Am I really in a relationship then? And I think that's where people go most crazy, where they're in a relationship with someone, but yet they feel single, or they're acting single, or it's not like they feel single, but their partner makes them like they're not their partner, treats them like they're not their partner, and they start feeling single. I think those are the worst relationships you could ever be in, because that's like some mindfuck on a whole new level. And like I said, your happiness from the fate of God, from the fate of the universe, higher being, of whatever entity, but for mine, it's God. At the end of the day, whatever it's gonna come with, it's gonna be happiness. And that is all that I have for today. Bye.